ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 44, beginning from verse number 1. In the previous chapter we read the arrival of Krishna and Balaram into the wrestling arena, and all the people saw them. They had a dialogue with Chanura and Mustika. Actually only Chanura spoke, and he said that he will fight with Krishna and Mustika with Balaram, and Krishna accepted that. So now this chapter describes the wrestling Olympic championship final match. So Sri Shuka Uvacha एवं चर्चित संकल्पो भगवान मधुसूदनः आससादथ चाणूरम मुष्टिकम रोहिणी सुतः. So when spoken like this, Charchita, Krishna took the sankalpa, or he decided that we should fight with them, Bhagavan Madhusudana. So asasadatha chanuram. So he approached Chanura, and son of Rohini, Sri Balramji, he went to Mustika. So they took their respective opponents ready to fight. So he is called here Madhusudana. So Sudana means to squeeze, right? Harisudana. So he is going to squeeze him. चतुश्चत्वारिंशकेऽत्र मल्लकं साहताः स्त्रियः आश्वासिताश्च भ्रातृभ्याम् अभूतपित्रोश्च दर्शनम्. So what is being described here in 44th chapter is that there is description of the killing of wrestlers and of Kamsa, and Krishna consoled the wives of Kamsa because they lost their husband. He had two wives, daughter of Jarasandha, and he also met his parents along with his brother and spoke to them. So now description of the wrestling. There was no blowing of whistle or anything like that. There is no referee, only spectators and freestyle. So hastabhyam hasteyor badhva padbhyam eva cha padayoho vichakarshaturannyonyam prasahya vijigeshaya. So hastabhyam hasteyor badhva. So with their hands they entangled their hands, and with their feet, the feet, and they pulled each other. So they're trying to catch the hands and push and pull, and with the feet also try to entangle your leg into the leg, and then try to make the other person trip down. So prasahya with great force, and vijigishaya with the desire to win over each other. So that's how the match began. So charchita chanuram aham hanyam iti vicharita sankalpa yenasa. So this is the comment on charchita. There's the root called church in Sanskrit, which means to talk. Like we have the word charcha, Shastra charcha, it comes from the root church. And that's why people go to church. Right? Why do they go to church? Just a social gathering. Right? Some gossiping, do some charcha. So charchita means that they spoke, and then sankalpa, and then decide they accepted, yes. So that's how they came and started fighting. Aratni dve aratnibhyam janubhyam chaiva januni shirah shrishno rasostavanyo anyam abhijagnatu. So aratni is the hand from here to there is called aratni. This part is also a measurement. Sometimes people measure like that, or like that. It's called aratni. Measuring from the elbow to there, this is called hasta. This is called aratni. So they are catching, taking a grip. So aratni dve aratni bhyam, both with both, and janu bhyam cha januni, and also their knees. So they are trying to kick each other on their knees. It's a janu bhyam cha januni. Janu is knee, also thigh is called janu. So Shira Krishna also hitting the head with head. So this is not ordinary wrestling. It's quite wild. Hitting head, there is no helmet. There is no turban or anything. So like the bulls, they fight. Have you seen bull fighting? They go with the head and push. So like that they are also putting the head to each other and pushing, holding the hand. Bulls don't have hands. So they only have their heads and horn. Or sometimes you see the goats fighting, ram. They ram each other with their head. They actually go little away and then come running and hit the head, right? So they are also doing like that. And Urshos, Tau, Anyonya, Bhyam, and the chest with the chest. They are also holding with the chest and squeezing each other. So in this way they are trying to attack.
Babaji, is this all also freestyle Bollywood then, or this is something extra?
This is called Vraj style. No freestyle here.
What did you say though? Are you doing similar way?
Yes, no, not like this. No head. This is only Vraj style. So in Mathura, wrestling is still popular in Mathura. There are still wrestling places in Mathura. Since those days, wrestling is still continuing. Parampara. So Kanishtha Anguli Vyatirekena Krita Mushtir Hasto Aratni. So he is saying that if you take the hand and leaving this finger out and close like this, that he calls is an aratni. Means like this. So they are fighting with that. I don't know why they are keeping this out. So this is the description of aratni. Yadapi tabhyam malle yuddha duskaratvad aprasiddham. So he says actually fighting like this in the wrestling is difficult and it is not very popular. Aprasiddham.
Babaji, in boxing, if you keep it like this, then the impact is more.
In boxing they don't keep like that. Have you seen anyone fighting with the little finger out?
No. Not a boxing, but generally this box would be very impactful if you put these fingers.
How do you know? You have any?
We were taught in this karate class.
I never heard that. Why is it more forceful? Any reason for that? You can break your little finger and if it hits. I don't know. So prasiddham tu samushti hastabhyam eva. He says the popular one is when you keep all the 5 fingers together, that gives more force. This is going to break. If you hit like this, you'll have a fracture. So he says this is the popular. Tathapi venu vadye urudhani shiksha iti vad bhagavata niskanishta mushti haste neva arabdhe ekam niyuddhe chanurenapi kashtam praptena api virabhimanina tatha kritam iti gayam. So he says, although this is not a style to fight like this, nobody does it, but Krishna, he says, he has to invent something new. So he said, just like it was said earlier, Venu Vadya Rudhani Shiksha, that when he was playing flute, he was playing some ragas which only he was playing and nobody, right? Even Brahma, Indra, they were, Kandhar, Nat Kandhar Chitta. They were standing there, Uru Purugaurodha, Urupurodha. Sloka is there, they are standing there trying to hear which raga is he singing. So like that he is having his own style. That's why I say this is the Vraj style here. So he says no one does like this, but because Krishna was doing it, although it is not known, then Chanur, he did not want to fall behind. He said, oh, he is doing it, I will also do it. He also started doing it. Because he has the pride that I am a strong man. So if he is doing like this, I will also do it like this. So it's said like that. Paribhramana vikshepa parirambhava patnaihi utsarpana prasarpana sanaischa anyonyam pratirundhatam. So they are trying their best, circling around paribhramana, rotating the other person, right? Sometimes hold the other person, make him go left, right, and vikshepa, throw him, and parirambha, embrace, and apatana, throw down, utsarpana, get out, apsarpana, run away. So anyonyam pratirundhatam. So this is how they were trying to counter each other, block, fighting. So different, what is it called? Different types of hold, dav. In Hindi they call it dav pech. In English I don't know what is the word. Locks. Different types of locking. There are various names for them. There are books on Malli Yuddha, and they give slokas and diagrams how you hold the other person in different types of locks. Dharpakad, Ghoda Pachad. Various names are there. So they are trying all this on each other. So paribhramanam hastadeshu grihitva paritaschalanam. So paribhramanam means that holding the other person's hand and then trying to move around. Vikshepa nodanam. Vikshepa means throwing, hitting. Parirambha bahubhyam nispidanam. And parirambha means holding in the arms and trying to squeeze. Apatanam adhakshepa. And apatana means throwing down. Utsarpanam utsrijya purtogamnam. And utsarpanam means that leaving and coming in front, maybe from the back to front. And apsarpana prishtatogamnam. And apsarpana means going on the back side and holding from the back. So these are different types. Sometimes you see in the wrestling the person falls and one of them in the ground with the face on the ground, and that is on top trying to turn him, lifting this way, that way, going front side, back side, twisting the leg. So all these tricks they are trying. Utthapanayir unnayinais chalanai sthapanayirapi parasparam jigishantav apachakratur atmanaha. So sometimes they are trying to uplift and sometimes take above the head, sometimes moving around, sometimes fixing on the down. Parasparam jigishanto, each one of them is trying to win over the other one. Apchakratur apna. And in this way they are trying to hurt each other. Troubling. So thapanam padau januni cha pindikritya patitasya ucchatanam. So thapan, he says, is that keeping your feet and knees together, and then when the other guy who is fallen down, to lift that. And unnayanam hastabhyam udhritya nayanam. And unnayanam is also lifting up, but lifting with the hands up. So sometimes you lift up and then throw on the ground. And chalanam kanthadi lagnasya nisharanam. Chalanam means one who is grabbing your neck, then how to come out of that. Sthapanam pani padadi pindikaranam. Sthapanam means putting his hand and leg together, holding and bringing them together. Evam parasparam atno dehasya apchakratu. So in this way they were troubling each other's body. Basically that's what it means. Atmana here means body, and apchakratu means upkar is doing good and apkar is troubling, causing trouble. Bhagavatas tadabhave api drashtri lokabhiprayam anusritya tathoktam. So although it was not possible for Chanura to give trouble to Bhagavan, but he is speaking like this because the people who are seeing, they are thinking like this, that oh, now Krishna is becoming weak, or now he is having upper hand. So he is also describing like that. Tat balabalam vad yuddham sametaha sarvayoshitaha uchuhu parasparam rajan sanu kampa varuthashaha. So at that time the ladies who have assembled there, so ladies have also come. It was not only that only men came. Women also came to see the wrestling. So all the ladies, they saw that this wrestling match was not between equals, but Bala and Abala. One is powerful, another is weak. So it's not a good match. And therefore they came together and started speaking in groups. They formed groups to talk about it. He says, what is this going on? How can this be allowed here? So they talk. Tad yuddham balabalvat uchurati anvaya. So that yuddha or wrestling, yuddha here means the wrestling. So they understood that this is not, that both parties are match of each other. So therefore they spoke. Ekto balam anyatascha balam. So one side is stronger, other is weak. Tadvat tad yuktamato vishamam ityartha. So therefore being a wrestling match between weak and strong, he says this is not a good match, it is a visham, uneven. So they spoke, and why they spoke? Tatra hetu sanukampa, because they were compassionate on the weak. Snehasya svabhavaye vayam yat svavishayasya baladhikyam ne pratyayaditi. And this is the nature of affection, that it does not inform you about the strength of the object of your affection. Means if there is a war going on or fight going on, then the person to whom you are affectionate appears weaker to you, and you are compassionate on that. So because the women were very much attracted to Krishna, they loved him, so they felt compassion that what is this? How is this being even allowed here? So therefore they speak. Mahanayam bata dharma esham rajasabha sadam ye balaval vadyuddham ragyon vichanti pashyatah. So he says, indeed, this is a great adharma or irreligious act. What is that? That in this assembly of king's people here, this wrestling match is going on between unequal people of unequal strength, and people are seeing it in front of the king, and they are approving it as if it is all right. Means nobody is raising any objection to it, that why is it being allowed here. And king is also sitting and watching it. So this is not good. This is adharma. Tasam ukti maha mahaniti daspi. So Sri Sukadeva Goswami is describing the statements of the ladies of Mathura in 10 slokas. So balabhyam sah balvator yuddha Raja chet pashet sopi varniye. So he says that this fighting of two boys with these two strong wrestlers, this certainly should be stopped even if king is watching it. This should not be allowed. Ete tu राज्ञः पश्यतो अनुपश्यात् स्वयं अपि पश्यन्ति. But look at these people, how dharmic they are, that the king is watching and they are also watching. And ichchata tasyanu swayam api icchanti. And king is desiring to see this match and they are also desiring to see it. So they are not thinking that why is this is being allowed. No one is raising any objection. So kshatriyantasya drishe rakshepat tinganto api drishir labhyate. So here this pashyata is a kshatriyantra, drish dhatu, kshatri pratyay, pashyan pashyanta upashyanta. So pashyata Sashti. So since Kshatri is there, Kshatri always goes along with another Kriya. It needs another verb. So he says there should be another Pashyatah Pashyati or Pashyatah Pashyanti, that he is seeing, they are also seeing. And similarly, Anvichanti is verb, so it should also have a corresponding Kshatriyanta. Ichchata Anvichanti, Pashyata Anupashyanti. So he is taking it that way, that the king is seeing and then after him they are also seeing, and king is wishing to see it and they are also seeing. इच्छता स्तस्यानु स्वयं अपि इच्छन्ति क्षत्रियन्तस्य दृशो राक्षेपात् तिङन्तो अपि दृशिर लभ्यते तथैव तिङन्तस्य इच्छते राक्षेपात् सो अपि क्षत्रियन्तो लभ्यते. So he is basically adding two more words. One is ichchata anvichanti and pashyata anupashyanti. So that will complete the sense. So what is not there in the verse but is needed to complete the sense of the verb, that you apply from outside, that is called akshepa. Kva vajra sara sarvango mallau shailendra sannibhau Kvachati sukumarango kishoro napta yavano. So now they are describing the unevenness between the two sets of wrestlers. So he says, just see these wrestlers, their bodily limbs are vajrasara. They are like hard like diamond. Diamond is supposed to be the most hard stone. So vajra is stone and sara is the essence of stone. So vajrasara sarvanga, all their bodily limbs, not only just the bones or muscles, but even the belly, everything is so strong. Mallav and Shailendra Sannibhav, and they are big like mountains. And on the other side, Ati Sukumarangau Kishoro. On the other side, you have two young boys whose bodily limbs are very, very tender. And Napta Yavno, they have not even attained youth yet. So they are not even teenagers, because they are only 11. Teen starts when 13, so they still have 2 more years to go. So they are very young, and here we have 2 big wrestlers. So balvatva abalvatve tarjnibhir darshayanti kvaiti. So they are as if they are pointing their fingers to them, look at this and look at that. So then this kwa is used. So kwa is used in Sanskrit when you want to show the difference, contrast. Dvau kvau mahadantaram darshayata. So Kalidas writes that in Raghuvamsa in the very beginning, that where is the Rajvansa, and I am like a small, he says I am like a dwarf trying to touch the moon. That's, here is a kwa like that.
Babaji, what is the meaning of Pindikaran?
Pindikaran means to put it together like pinda, pindadan, you know pindadan?
Okay. Yes.
So to make a ball, like make a laddu. So put it, so bringing the hands and legs together. If you take someone's 2 hands and 2 legs and put them together, that is pindikaranam. Right? It will become like a laddu, round.
Thank you.
So apindam pindikaroti iti pindikaranam. This is not a pinda, and you make it pinda. If you know Punjabi, in Punjabi language, Pind is, village is called Pind. You know that? Pind. Sada Pind. Our village. So why it is called Pind? Because people live together, close to each other. That's why it is called Pind. So dharma vyati kramo hi asya samajasya dhruvam bhavet yatra adharma samuttishtet stheyam tatra karhi nastheyam tatra karhichit. So he says that in this place there is a transgress of dharma. Certainly all these people will get the sin who have assembled here, the sin of transgressing the dharma. And wherever there is adharma going on, a dharmic act is going on, then one should not stay there at all. One should leave that place. Otherwise, you will also get the sin of that adharma. you will become witness to that. So dharma vyatikramo adharma samajasya sabhaya. So this sabha, this assembly, this samaj, so this is going to get the reaction of adharma. And nasthayam ityato asmavirutthaye gamyatam iti bhava. Therefore, one should not stay in such a place. So this means that they are saying that let's move out from here, we should not stay here. This is certainly not right to stay in this place. So then they are giving a principle of going to an assembly or a sabha, otherwise don't go. So it says, na sabham pravishet pragyah sabhya doshan anusmaran abruvan vibruvan nagyo narah kilbisham ashnute. So an intelligent person should not go to an assembly remembering the sins which can accrue to one if one acts wrongly there. So sabhya means cultured, person is called sabhya. It comes from the word sabha. Means one who is qualified to go into a sabha or assembly is called sabhya. And those who are not qualified to go to a sabha, they are called asabhya, uncultured. That means if you go to a sabha, an assembly, then there are certain rules which has to be followed. Not everybody is allowed there. Na sa sabhayatra na santi vriddha vriddhanate yena vadanti satyam. So that is not called a sabha or assembly in which there are not learned people. Vriddha means learned, not just old but wise people. And who are wise? Those who speak truth. So, no, vriddhanatena vadanti dharmam. So, vriddha or learned or senior people are those who speak dharma. Otherwise they are not. And dharmam nayati tatra satyam nasti. And that is not dharma in which truth is not there. And truth, what is truth? That is not truth which harms others. So therefore one should know before one enters a sabha. So that's what is being said. So na sabham pravishet pragyah. So therefore learned person should not go to sabha, because you become, sabha here means where some decisions are taken. It's not just any assembly, because people used to assemble to make this, like panchayat. In the villages they do panchayat. Some problems come and people get together. So then you have to speak there if something is wrong. Otherwise don't go there. So therefore they are saying abruvan. When do you get sin? It says abruvan. If you don't speak, if you know that something is wrong, something is adharmic, and you don't speak against it, you just keep mum. So then you become implicated in that, means you are approving. And vibruvan, you speak up against truth. So not speaking what is to be spoken, or to speak against what should be spoken. Or third one is agya, feigning ignorance. Well, I really don't know what is right, what is wrong, when you actually know. So if you behave in any one of these three ways, then kilvisham ashnute, then such a person will incur sin. The reaction, whatever is happening there, whatever adharmic thing happens there, one will also become implicated in that, for sure. So they are saying asmabhir atra agatya eva aparadham iti aparaha shastra shasnam ahu. So there are other ladies who said that we have actually made a mistake just by coming here. We should not have even come here. And then she is giving shastric injunction in this regard, why they should not have come. Na sabhamiti. Sabhayam adharme utpadyamane sati dharma gyatvapi tam abruvan tushnim tishthan ityartha. So when there is something adharmic, irreligious, against the law is being said, performed or decided in the sabha, and the person actually knows what is dharma, what is the right principle, but does not speak abruvan and remains silent, then one will become sinful. And vibruvan vidharmam eva bruvan, and worse than that is that you speak against dharma, means you actually verbally support it. This person knows what is right, the first one, but he is not supporting it by speaking, but keeping quiet. So maunam sammati lakshanam. He is giving maun sammati. He is approving by not speaking. And the other one actually approves by speaking that yes, this is the right thing, it should be done like that. So that is called vibruvan. And the third one is agya gyatvapi na janamiti bruvan. The third one, he knows, he says, I don't know what is right, what is wrong. So the first one knows and doesn't speak. Second one knows but speak against. And third one also knows but says, I don't know. So all three, kilbisham prapnoti, they all will get sin. Ataha sabham na pravished, therefore one should not go to an assembly. Sabha pravesh nishedo vyavahar sapekshasya eva pragyasya natu vyavahar nirpekshasya pragyasya. Now he says that this restriction of not going to the assembly is for a person who is involved in vyavahar, who is concerned or who is responsible for the dharma principles, means who has an authority or who has responsibility, vyavahar sapeksha. But somebody is vyavahar nirpeksha, it's not his responsibility. He doesn't have the adhikar, then such a person will not get any sin involved, sin in that. Yatha sabha parvani dyute draupadi vipadi vyavahar sapeksha pragya bhishmadayo abruvana eva tastu. So in Mahabharata there are 18 parvas, 18 divisions, and one of the whole division is called Sabha Parva. One of the 18 parts of Mahabharata is actually called Sabha Assembly because it involves that episode where Draupadi was called, the gambling was done and she was lost in the bet, and then she came and she asked this question when Dushasana was trying to disrobe her. So she asked that I want to ask this question to all the senior people here, that Yudhishthira the king has put me on bet, but before that he had put himself and he lost himself. So now does he have the right over me, since he is not independent? So how is that he can put me on that? And even if he can only put half of me, because it's Ardhangini. They say better half in English. So at least keep my worse half free. But see, he put me complete whole. So am I lost in the bet or not? Was it proper? So Bhishma, his Vyavahara Sapeksha. It is expected. There was an apeksha from him. It was expected from him to speak up and give the answer. Dhritarashtra, all the senior people who were there, it was their responsibility to answer. Because he's saying that I am asking this question to the Sabhya Janaji. So they did not speak. Bhishma kept quiet. So that's what it says. So Bhishmadeo abruvana eva tasthu vyavahar nirpeksha pragyo vidurastu dharmam bhrutasmai. But Vidura, it was not his responsibility because he was not king or ruler or anything. He was only secretary or consultant. He spoke and he said this is wrong. Although it was not his job, but still he spoke. Rangbhumau tu sarveva pragyaha kamsadbhita vyavahar sapeksha eva. But here in this Rangbhumi, in this stadium, all the people who have come here, all the wise people who have assembled here, they are all fearful of Kamsa, but they are all Vyavahar Sapeksha. They all have, because here there is nothing like that they cannot say. They can stand up and say, why is this happening here? So means they expect, just like they are speaking, they are ladies, they are more bold and more dharmic and more empathetic or empathetic. So then the men did not speak. So valgatah shatrum abhitah krishnasya vadanambujam vikshatam sram varyapyut uptam padmakoshami vambhuvi. So just see how much effort Krishna is doing, that he is running around the enemy, means trying to protect him. Valgata Shatrum-avita Krishnasya Vadanambujam. Look at his lotus face and Shramvari Uktam Padmakosham, and his face is having sweat on it, just like you see the drops of water on the lotus leaf, and his face is like lotus. So he is working so hard. The other guys, nothing is happening to him. So how is that this is being allowed? So nanu tayo shrama drishtya balvatva anumanat na kopi dos prasanga iti ashankya krishnasya tavat shramam darshayanti. So now someone may say that actually no one is speaking here because they are not seeing that Krishna and Balaram are making any effort, because they are strong and therefore there is no sin involved in their part, because they are not feeling that there is this discrepancy or unevenness in the strength of, there is nothing. So then they are showing, look, how you cannot see the sweat on Krishna's face, how you cannot see that he is jumping around left to right. Krishnasya tavat shramam darshayanti. So they are showing the labor effort done by Krishna. Valgatah shatrum abhita. So he is running around the enemy. Shatroho sarvato dhavta krishnasya sramvarena uptam vyaptam. And his face is full of sweat because he is running around the enemy. Vadanambujam Mukchandro Drishyatam. Look at his moon-like face. So Abjau Shashanka, Shankha Shashankau Chaityamara Klibattomar. So he is taking the meaning of the word Ambujam as moon and not the lotus. The common meaning of Ambuja is Ambujayate iti Ambuja, lotus. But Ambuja also means moon, because moon was also born from water. Yes. Churning of the ocean, moon also came out. So he is also Ambuja. That's why moon is cooling. It is born from water. Kimna pashyata ramasya mukhamātamralochanam mushtikam prati samarsham hasa sanarabhyashobhitam. And don't you see the face of Balram? His eyes are red like copper out of anger. He is angry at Mushtikam prati samarsham hasa sanarabhyashobhitam. And his face is looking very beautiful, although angry. But hasa, samarsham, anger and laugh both are there. Is it possible that you can be angry and also laughing? It's difficult, right? It's like trying to keep your mouth closed and not to speak. So then has can also means excessive, like itihas. Hasa also means blowing, because hasa vikasana. So samarsham sakrodham. Samarsa means sakrodha, with anger. Krodhasya karanam mushtaka prahar janit srama eva buddhyatam iti bhava. Why is he angry? Because he is getting hit by mustika. So therefore he is doing a lot of hard work in fighting and sweating. Kopothena hasena kopa hasena. And because of anger he is also laughing. So laughing after angry means he is deriding him. When you are angry, then out of anger you make fun of somebody. So that's what he is doing. So that is the kopothahasa. It is not laughing out of pleasure, but out of anger. Kopahasena saha sarabho yuddhaveshastena shobhitam. So this is because he is completely absorbed in fighting, and therefore he is looking so beautiful. So this is the description of their fighting. In the next 4 slokas they will describe the good fortune of the gopis and Rajvasis. We'll read that tomorrow. If there is any question. Yeah.
A question regarding one of the very early verses we did today. It's number 4. So there was Paribrahmana and Parirambhavana. So it's not really an alliteration, because the vowels, the letters are not really repeated, right? But they are kind of flipped around and then repeated. Is this also some kind of...
No, alliteration is when they have to be same letters repeated. So we can only say that there is alliteration of... there is no. I don't see that.
Okay.
Only in the next one, Utsarpana and Apsarpana. Sarpa.
But still, it sounds kind of nice, I feel.
Yeah, that's okay. In poetry, rhyming.
And then about the assembly. So I understood that one should not go into an assembly where one knows that, people will discuss adharmic things or...
The idea is that if you go and you have responsibility and you have right to speak, then you should speak. That's the idea. Should not tolerate something wrong, unlawful, irreligious.
Exactly. So if I don't speak up while knowing what is best, or if I don't speak if I don't speak the truth, or if I
speak against,
or if I pretend as if I'm ignorant, then I get also the papa. But if I actually don't know what is proper,
then not. If you don't know, then how can you be involved?
But then it's still some kind of suffering will come out, right? Even if I don't know that...
that means you know. Something is happening and you suffer, that means you know that is wrong. Otherwise, how can you suffer?
But, okay, I thought that, for example, if I don't know that certain food is improper for my body and I eat it, then still
it's
I
not
suffer,
like
no?
that. It's not food, it's not something you're taking. Just like this wrestling match is going on. So somebody does not know that actually match should be between equals. He doesn't know this. He's just a child and there he comes to see the wrestling match. He has no idea that competition has to be. So he's not going to get any reaction on this. And he's also not going to suffer because he doesn't know.
And how far should we extend or apply this practically? For example, there's often this tension for devotees when it comes to politics, right? That in one's country, politics are going on, campaigns are going on, policies are being made, and then often
so if there's a possibility for people that they can bring a change, then they can do it. But if it is not, then it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. Something is happening. Now there's nothing. You can speak if you want to speak, but it's not going to have any effect on anybody. Most of the time it is like that. It is for the people who sit there, the lawmakers. So they have to make proper law. Or for the judges who make decisions.
But if it's my responsibility to elect them, then would it be also my responsibility to remind them that they
if you can remind them, fine. Yeah. But just like now this Hamas and Israel war is going on, and people in India are making protest in favor of Hamas.
And Hamas is still holding 6 months later 100 hostages.
So now what is the point of this protest here? Tell me. Does it have any meaning? That I don't see any meaning in it. And it is the United Nations or people who know the big 7 or 5 or whoever, they have the power to influence. It is their job, not common person and this country which has nothing to do with it.
I'm not sure I heard this right, but I wrote down, I think that you said, that is not truth which harms others?
Yeah.
Okay, can you elaborate on that?
Elaborate, it's given like somebody, common example is given, that one, this is maybe a very example just to understand. I cannot think of practical example immediately, but there's a butcher who is running behind a cow, and the cow disappears, and butcher comes running, he has a knife, and he asks you which way the cow went, and you know that it went to this side, so you tell the truth. So this truth is going to harm the cow. You understand? So then this truth becomes untruth, irreligious.
I was thinking about like telling somebody the truth about something, like a character flaw or something, and then
Yeah,
they're
it could
harmed.
be also.
And then
It
they
could-
feel harmed, so then it's not truth
Yeah.
because it harms them.
Yeah, satyam bruyat priyam bruyat, na bruyat satyam apriyam. You tell unpleasant truth to somebody, the person is disturbed. Some people say like that, well, I will tell the truth, I don't care, I'm truthful. People speak like that very proudly. So that's what it means. Truth which is harmful.
So because it's harmful, it's not true?
How is it true? What is the people think that truth is the goal. What is the purpose?
What's the definition of truth?
Definition of truth is to say what you know. Yeah. But is that the ultimate purpose? That's what is being described. Okay, it is truth. But point is that does truth have a purpose, or you have to be just truthful? Why you want to be truthful? It has a purpose, right? That it does good to people. Being untruth, you harm people. That is why one should not be why one should not be untruthful? Why? Tell me. If I ask you, why should one be truthful? What would you say?
To help people.
To help people. So now if the truth is not helping,
But what if they feel hurt, but then eventually they get...
then it is fine. I'm saying, suppose the truth is not helpful, then is it truth? Because the very reason you are speaking truth is to help, you yourself said. But now, if that is the definition of truth, then if it is not helping, it is not truth.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, Ladli.
Do the lady of Mathura, are the ladies of Mathura always in Mathura path? Or do they have...
Not all ladies. Some of them.
Okay, so it's some of them, and that's this one who are talking. Is,
That is what?
so that's these specific ones
Yes.
who are tracking themselves at that moment because they are in Mathura and they are in Mathura, that's why I was surprised.
They are Mathura and
No Krishna.
they are in Mathura and they are in Madhura Bhav.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Okay, Sandeep.
Like this fighting between Chavara and Krishna and Mustik and Balram, was it simultaneously going on? Or?
Yes, simultaneous.
Both of them engaged with, like Balram engaged with Mustik at the same time, Krishna engaged with Chavara.
Exactly same time. No time lag.
Okay, otherwise,
It's called, this is called stereo system. Stereo wrestling.
Okay. So another thing I just remembered, like what the martial arts you taught. So that finger is not like this now. It's like this. But
Yeah, so
how much this, but otherwise.
Yeah, so that is different. Here it was not like that. Here it was like that.
Okay, but this will be actually very harmful.
Yes.
Harming the person only.
And that's what the commentator said.